Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm Wei Jie from ACAT Private Limited. First of all, I would like to welcome all of you to today's webinar on Lumion 11 overview. In today's webinar, we'll be looking at the new features of Lumion 11, both major and minor ones, and I'll be using the example projects available in Lumion itself to showcase how all these features works. And at the end of the webinar, I'll be giving you guys time to post any questions that you want, and I'll be glad to answer them. To begin the webinar, we'll be looking at what is Lumion. So this is especially important for those who are new to Lumion itself. And then after that, we'll go straight into the main topics of today, which is to cover what are the new features in Lumion 11. And then I'll round things off by having a Q&A session at the last part of the event. Okay, before I begin, I would like to take some time to do some introduction of my company. So ACAT is the exclusive distributor of Lumion in Singapore. On top of that, we are also authorized reseller for many other software solutions that are directly compatible with Lumion. Example will be Revit, SketchUp, and 3ds Max. We are also authorized training center, and we pride ourselves by providing conducive environments for those who are interested to learn how to use our software, example, Lumion, AutoCAD, and some other software that we carry. We also have a team of professionals that provide technical support for any software inquiries. So now we come to what is Lumion. So Lumion is a 3D rendering software that is designed specifically for architects and designers. So you can easily create a 3D environment with very little learning curve. And upon doing that, it also allows you to create things like beautiful images, video presentations, and live walkthroughs. Lumion also works very well with any 3D modeling or drafting application. And on the right side, you will see some of the software that is compatible with Lumion. Example, you have ArchiCAD, AutoCAD, 3ds Max, and many other more. And then you can also see some of the model formats that you can import into Lumion itself. Okay, so now we'll go into the main topics of today, which is the new features. So what I'm going to do here is I'll do a brief introduction of some of the major ones, and then followed by a software demonstration that highlights all the minor and major features that is being created in Lumion 11. So the first feature that I'll be covering here will be Autographic View. This new Autographic View feature in Lumion 11 allows you to create really realistic technical drawings. So things like top view, side view, isometric view of your design, you can now easily create it in Lumion 11. With the new animated facing feature effect, you can now create animation to showcase your entire design development as well as the construction process. You can also apply different transitions to highlight what makes your design unique and creative. Okay, sometimes in certain situations, right, you want to project a cold and rainy feeling to your design. You can now make use of this new feature called rain streak, and this allows you to create really intelligent raindrops that runs down your glass materials. Okay, the next feature will be covering here will be volumetric fire. So all along, Lumion has the capability to include fire object. It's just that in Lumion 11, it brings the fire object to another level. So by using this new volumetric fire object, you can further enhance the warm and coziness atmosphere if you need it in your design. Okay, next will be micro shadow for spotlights. So now with this new addition in Lumion 11, you can now create shadows even for the tiniest details in your design whenever you shine the spotlights in your project. Okay, next will be metallic car shader. So in Lumion 11, with the new metallic car shader, the cars in your render now takes on a really impressive and realistic appearance that looks really like the real thing. Elements like the light and shadow, it now appear much more realistic on the metallic surfaces of the vehicle. Okay, Lumion has always been very focused on expanding their content library. So in Lumion 11, it is no different. So in this version, 401 new objects are added in Lumion 11, including 61 fine detail nature model, 177 interior models, and many more. On top of that, all the new objects are HD quality, and this also brings the total object count in Lumion 11 to more than 6,000. As for material-wise, 63 new materials has been added in Lumion 11, including 17 wood materials, carpets, bricks, and many other different materials as well. All these materials can be altered via displacement, weathering soft edges option that allows you to actually change how the appearance of the materials that you are using in your design. And this also brings the total number of count for the number of materials in Lumion 11 to about 1,300. Improvement has also been made to the OpenStreetMap feature to now include really beautiful and detailed satellite map when you download them into your design. Lumion 11 now also allows us the capability to import and customize our own IES spotlights. So you just have to import the IES profile that you need, and then you can get your spotlights to shine in the way that you want. So no longer you have to tweak and customize your spotlight. Now it makes everything so easy. Okay, live sync for BreezeCAD. So for those who are using BreezeCAD for their modeling, right, it is now possible to change a model and then visualize it in Lumion in real time, making your job a bit more simpler. Okay, the next feature will be the color picker. So in Lumion 11, you no longer have to guess the color that you need. You just have to use the round color picker that follows the European color standard. You can easily get the color that you need and apply it into your design. Okay, next will be high quality theater preview. So all along, Lumion has this capability to apply a high quality preview before you run the actual render. But then in Lumion 11, they have improved it in the form that they give you the high quality preview, both in the theater mode and the viewer mode. So now you can actually get the preview before you run the actual render. Okay, last but not least will be the artistic panorama effects. So in previous version, when you want to create 360 panorama, you will not be able to apply any artistic effects to it. So in Lumion 11, you can now apply several artistic effects to your 360 and 360 panorama. Okay, so now let's move on to the software demonstrations where I'll be showing you all the minor ones and major ones that I have not covered in my slides right now. Alright, so what you are seeing now is the landing page of Lumion 11. First thing you'll notice is there are some changes made to the background color interface. And then if you click on the Create New button, over here when it comes to the selection of the
new environment for your project. Now you have more choices, like for example, you have the desert environment, the winter environment, and design showcase, and many other more. And if you go to the example area, over here you can get a few more new example projects to work on. In fact, I'll be using some of the example projects over here to show you how some of the new feature works in Lumion 11. So let me just proceed and open up one of the example project, and over here this project that I'm using is the glass house. And first thing you notice is there's some changes made to the rearrangement of the buttons that you see at the bottom side of the interface. Not something major, but then there's one thing that I want to highlight over here, which is the tutorial. So when you go to the bottom right corner and click on the tutorial button, over here Lumion 11 comes with 2 new tutorials that can help the new user to kickstart their learning curve. So the first tutorial is camera control, and the second tutorial will be how to place object into the environment. So when I choose one of the tutorial, over here there is a step-by-step guide on how to actually go about this tutorial. Everything is quite intuitive, right? So I'll just exit the tutorial. So this is the first feature that has been added recently. And the next feature I'll highlight will be located in the settings page. So I'm going to go to the settings button. There's some changes made to the settings page as well. Everything has been categorized into 3 categories: image, input, and system. And then if you go to the image category, over here there is one new option called use proxy. So what this use proxy does for you is that, for example, if you are dealing with very big projects, or you are using hardware that is not that high-end, sometimes when you navigate around your project, right, you experience some lagging effect because your project has a lot of models in it. So using this use proxy option, it will allow you to maintain a very smooth experience when it comes to navigating around big projects. So I'll show you how it's done. So once you turn that on, and then I'm going to move around the project, and then you can see some of the trees at the background of the project has been replaced with proxy object, so that you can still move around your project smoothly without any problem. But then when you move near to the proxy object, it will be getting back your trees. Okay, so this is also one improvement that's been made in Lumion 11. So I'm just going to go back and turn the option off again. The next feature that I'll be showing you will be the addition of new templates for your real sky. So if you go to the weather tab and turn on the real sky, now you will be getting a few more different options when it comes to setting up the weather of your environment. So you can see those templates that doesn't have the polygon wording at the bottom right corner. That will be the new addition to the Lumion 11. Okay, so I'm just going to click on one of the template and use it. Okay, that will be another addition. Okay, now I'm going to show you the next feature, which is called the color picker. So let's say if I'm going to change the color of the materials of this model, I'll go to the materials tab and select the materials. In order to choose the color that I want, first thing I have to increase the colorization of it, of this slider. And currently the color that I'm using is white color. So I'm going to click on this button, and this interface will appear whereby I can use it to choose the color that I want. So this is the same as what you get in previous version, that you need to roughly guess the color that you want for these particular materials. Or you can input the hex code. So I'm going to click on the show more button, and then at the bottom side you can actually put in the hex code that you want for that materials. So what has been improved in Lumion 11 is the ability to select the color using the HSV coding or the RGB coding. So example, if I put in 00255 for my RGB coding, I know that the color will be blue color. Another way of choosing the color that you want, you can go to the route option over here, and then over here there are a lot of colors that you can choose from. Example, I will get something that is gray color. I'm going to click on gray, and then over here when it comes to gray, there are a lot of different grays to choose from. So I'm going to click on one of it, and this gray that I'm choosing from, it actually follows the European color standard. Okay, so now when it comes to choosing the color for materials, it becomes a bit more easier than previous version. Okay, now I'm going to show you another improvement made to the OpenStreetMap. So what has been improved in the OpenStreetMap is that now when you download the terrain using that, you will be able to download the satellite map as well. So I'm going to turn on the OpenStreetMap. Okay, so once it's turned on, you can click on the OK button, and then you can choose the GPS coordinate that you want to download, whereby you want to download the terrain from. So I'm going to download terrain that has some mountains in it. So I'm going to go to somewhere in Japan, Fuji area, and then I'm going to zoom in a bit. Okay, the terrain should be somewhere over here. Okay, so I'm going to download the terrain from this particular area. So what has been added in Lumion 11 is this button called Download Satellite Map. So I'm going to turn this on together with the height map, and then I'll proceed to download the OSM map onto my project. Okay, so it's done. So the first thing that you notice is that the terrain has been downloaded into your project, and then it comes with the satellite map as well. So if you don't want the satellite map, you can always go to the toggles over here, and you can easily turn off and on the things that you don't need. So example, I will turn off the earth and the road. Okay, after I did that, I will go back to my models. Okay, somewhere here, and then I'll find a good spot to actually get some nice render image out. So about this particular area, I'm going to go into my photo mode, and then I'm going to get a high quality preview of it over here. So you can see after I download the satellite map together with the terrain, using the OpenStreetMap, you can see now the whole environment looks a bit more realistic with the real world terrain. And I can also go out and then maybe go to some other location. And then I get a high quality preview of it over here as well. Right, so it looks really good. So this is also one of the improvement that has been made in Lumion 11. So now let's go indoor. And the next feature that I'll be looking at will be the new fire object that has been added. But before that, let me remove away the light over here so that I can see the fire object. Alright, so now I will go to my content library and click on the effects button. And over here, you will be able to see the fire objects. So this is the fire object that you can get in the older version. And what you get in the new version will be this volumetric fire. So it comes in different shapes and sizes. So I'm going to click on the first option here and I'm going to put it in. Okay, upon doing that, after that I'll go to my photo mode. Then we can do a brief comparison between both. So you can see the volumetric fire object, it looks more realistic than the one on the left side. Right? So I will just proceed and go and delete this. And now we can have a look at what we can do with this fire object. So when you select that, you have 5 controls over here that you can use to define the settings of this fire object. So for example, you can change the size of it over here. You can change the height, turbulence, and the intensity of it. And then at the bottom side, you have this load button, whereby you can load a texture image in to control the appearance or the shape of the fire object that you have already created here. So I'm going to click on the load button, and I'm going to choose an image file over here called Solar Eclipse. Upon doing that, now you can see the appearance has now been changed to exactly what it looks like in the image file that I've loaded in. Like this, so this is also one function of it. So I'm going to reduce the size of my fire. I'm going to drag it all the way to the fireplace. Then I'm going to do some changes to the location. So upon doing that, I'll go to my photo mode and then I'll get a quick render over here. And you can see the fire object, it looks really realistic in the image over here. So this is also one of the new features that has been added recently in Lumion 11. The next feature I want to highlight will be raindrops. So we can now create raindrops on any glass materials that you have in your design. So in order to do that, first thing you have to do some settings change to the materials. So I'm going to click on the materials button and select the glass material. And then on the panel, on the left side, all the way to the bottom, you can see there is a slider over here called Force Rain Streak. So you have to turn this on in order to get the raindrops to appear on your glass material. Okay, upon doing that, you can now go to the movie mode. Okay, let's record a new scene. Okay, I'm going to create a few keyframes over here. Okay, after I did that, I need to add in the effect, which is called the precipitation effect. Once I added that in on the panel on the left side, you can see there are 3 different options all the way to the last one. You can see there's a rain streak, there's a size of rain streak and offset. So we can use these 3 sliders to control how the appearance of the raindrops will be appearing on your glass surfaces. Okay. So once you are done with all the settings that you want, you can now play the video clip. And then now you can see the raindrops running down your glass materials during a rainy day. Okay, so this is also one of the new feature that's been added in Lumion 11. Okay, the next one is called the high quality theater feature. So previously when we go inside the photo mode, right, if you want to get a high quality preview of this particular scene, all you need to do is just left click inside the screen here, and then you can get a really quick high quality preview of this particular image. But then what has been improved in Lumion 11 is the ability to go into the theater mode, that you can just press the F11 button to go into this theater mode. And I'm going to go to one of the area that is outside of the model, maybe somewhere over here. And then after that I can just left click, and then I can get a really high quality preview of this particular scene. I can continue to move to another area. Let's say this area here, then click. Right, so you can get a really quick high quality preview that comes with all the effects that you have put into the render, and then you can have a look at how the effect will affect your design. So this is also one of the recently added feature into Lumion 11. Okay, before I go to another project to further show the rest of the feature, let me go through the last one. Okay, the last one will be the artistic panorama feature that has been added to Lumion 11. So you just have to go to the 360 panorama, and now we have the ability to apply really realistic artistic effects to all our 360 panorama images. So I'll just go to the add effects button, go to the artistic category. Over here, for example, I click on the styrofoam effect. I can apply it to my 360 panorama. Okay. I can also add in some other effects like the blue screen. Okay. Then change some of the settings over here. Okay, so you can really put in some artistic effects now to all your 360 panorama images. Right, so this is the last effect that I want to showcase using this project. So I'm going to load in another project over here. The next feature that I want to highlight will be the animated facing feature. So what this animated facing feature helps us to do is that we can actually create animation in terms of video presentation to show your client how the entire development of the design or the entire construction process. So over here in this particular project, right, I have bring in quite a few models. So you can see I actually separate them into individual files so that I can create animation out there. So you can see when I hover, they are individual model files. Okay, once I did that, I can now use the animated facing effect to help me to showcase the entire construction process of this particular building. Okay, so I'm going to go to the movie mode. Okay, upon doing that, I need to add in one effect, and the new effect that has been added in Lumion 11 is called the animated facing. Okay, after I did that, I will click on the edit button. So over here by default, you'll be given one animation over here. So the first thing, you can either change the name for your animation, and then select the object that you want to include inside this first animation that you are creating. So I'm going to click on the object button, zoom in, and then I'm going to select the model that I want to include inside the first animation according to the order of the sequence that I want the model to come in first. So I want this to come in first. I will select this, followed by the flooring, the pillar, and this structure over here. So you can see total I've selected 4 objects, and then in order to make sure that the object comes in to the scene in the correct sequence, I have to turn on this button, staggered in order of selection. Okay, upon doing that, I will go back to my original view. And over here, there's a start and end, so we can actually define the starting animation as well as the ending animation. So I'll just define the starting animation, and then over here there are 4 different effects that I can use for my animation. So the first one, I'll be using round rise, and then I can use the start time slider to define the starting time of my animation, or I can drag on this bar over here. I can set what's the duration of my entire animation, and then I can also increase the ease in slider so that the model comes in a bit smoother. Make sure you turn on the staggered slider so that the object comes in using the correct sequence. Okay, upon doing that, I can do a preview of it. Okay, so you can see the first object comes in, second object, third object, and the fourth object. Okay, now I will do a quick addition of 3 more different animation. So the first one, I'll put it here, I'll drag all the way to somewhere about 5 seconds. Duration, I'll set it to about 4. And then the object that I want to include into this animation will be this, and this. Okay, so upon doing that, I will increase the ease in and the staggered slider as well. I will add in 1 more animation for the third group of object. This, and this. So for the second animation, I want it to be sky drop, and then for the third animation, I want the effect to be included. Duration to be about 3 seconds, and then ease in and staggered all the way to the max. Okay, the last animation, I will select the wall. And then the effect that I want for this will be popping. Duration 1 second, ease in, staggered all the way to the max. Okay, after I did that, now I can preview the construction process. Oops, I think I did something wrong. Go back to edit. Okay, I forgot to move this animation all the way to the last. Okay, let's try again. Right, so now you can see with the animated facing effect, I can create the animation that shows the entire construction process that you can see in this particular video clip. Okay. So this is also one of the major features that has been added in Lumion 11. So I'm going to move to another project file, which is the last one that I'll be using for this webinar. It is called the Villa Cabrera. Okay, so I'll be using this example project to showcase the rest of the new features in Lumion 11. The next feature that I'll be showing you is the Autographic View effect. This Autographic View effect is able to help us to create very realistic floor plan view, top view, side view, elevation view, even isometric view. We can get it very easily now in Lumion 11. So in order to do that, we have to go to the movie mode, go to the photo mode first. Okay, first thing we have to bring in the Autographic View effect. So you have to click on the Add Effects button, and the effect is located inside the camera category. Over here you can see Autographic View. Okay, upon doing that, I will move my camera view to somewhere nearer to the model. And then on the left side, there are 4 different controls for Autographic View. You have the Enable button, you have the Near Clip, Far Clip, and the Fill Color. So we look at them one by one. So the first thing, you have to enable it so that you get the Autographic View on your images. So once you enable that, you can see there is a bar at the bottom of the screen. So when you click on the 3D button, basically it goes back to the normal view that you get in Lumion. And then if you click on 2D, it goes to the Autographic View. You can use the zoom slider to zoom in and out of your screen. You can use the heading slider as well to change the heading direction and the pitch angle. Okay, so first thing I'll show you how to get the elevation view. So I'm going to change to something like this. Okay, first thing you'll notice that there's a lot of trees that is blocking in the front side of the camera. So when you have such a situation, you can use the Near Clip slider to remove away the object that is in the front of the camera. So you can see the trees has been removed one by one. Okay. You can also use the Far Clip slider to remove anything that is at the back end of the camera. Okay. So I don't want the trees to be removed, so I'll just leave it at that. And then over here, there is a Fill Color over here that can change the color of the sky. So I can just enable that, and then I can choose what is the color that I want for the sky. Okay. So I'll turn this off, and then I'll do a quick render of it. So you can see now I can get a very realistic elevation view using the new feature which is called the Autographic View. Okay, I can also get some other views like the top-down view of my building. So I'm going to change the pitch over here and zoom out a bit. Okay, one thing I can play with is the Near Clip slider. So I'm going to remove some of the stuff, like for example the roof, so that I can see the inner side of the model. Okay. And then I can also bring in some other artistic effect. For example, I bring in the blueprint. Okay, and then I will do a quick render of it. And then now you can get a very realistic floor plan of your model. Okay, let's go to the movie mode. We can also apply Autographic View inside the movie mode. So first thing you can, I will click on a new video clip. Then I'm going to do a quick snapshot of the scene over here. And I'll proceed to add in the autographic effect. Okay, once I did that, I did turn on the Autographic View. And I'll change the view of it to isometric. So you can see when I turn the pitch to about 35.3 degrees, it shows me this angle is the isometric view of my building. Okay, so I'm going to remove a bit here, zoom out a bit. Okay, and then I will do a key shot over here. The next thing, I'll change the heading to somewhere here, and then I'm going to create one more key shot. Then I'll change the heading again, one more key shot. Okay, let's play the video clip. And now you can actually create a video clip starting from the isometric view of the entire model, and then you move around the building. Okay. So this is also one of the major features that has been added recently into Lumion 11. And now I'm going to move on to the next feature, which is called the metallic car shader. So over here, I've already placed two cars over here, and I'm going to do a comparison between the car that has a metallic surface applied to it as compared to the one that doesn't have it. So in order to apply the metallic paint to the car, I need to first select the car, and then on the top right corner, you will have this panel that shows the metallic paint slider. So you just have to increase the slider all the way to the max, and then you'll see that the surface of the car has now a metallic finishing on it. So you can see after applying the metallic paint, right, initially the color of the car is white color, but after applying it becomes grey color. So now I'm going to try another color. Probably I'll change it to blue. Same for the car at the back, I'll change to blue color as well. Okay, so once I did that, I will go to my photo mode, and then you can actually see a very high quality preview of the two cars that is being placed side by side. So the one that has the metallic finishing on it, it looks so much more realistic, and then you can see the light and the shadow that's shining on the surface. It looks much more prettier. So I'm going to go back to the build mode and apply the metallic paint to the other car as well. Then I'll go back to my photo mode, and then you can see now the differences after applying the metallic paint onto the car. So this is also one of the nice features that has been introduced in Lumion 11. So now let's go into the inside of the building. And the next feature that I will be showing you is the new shadow effect that is coming from the spotlight. So I'm going to place in one spotlight just on top of the table here. Okay, after doing that, I'm going to go to my photo mode, and then I'm going to go to my shadow effect. So the things that has been improved is in terms of the fine detail shadow, where now you will get the shadows in some of the tiny details on your renderings. So just make sure that you turn this fine detail shadow on, and then you get the really nice shadow effects now from the spotlight. So I'm going to do a comparison. So first I'm going to turn this off, and then I will do a high quality preview of this scene. Okay, so after this rendering is been done, you can see the shadow on the wall. Along the line on the wall, you can see there are a lot of missing details in terms of shadow over there. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the fine detail shadow, and then you can see what's the difference after I turn that on. So you can see the shadow now appears on the line along the wall, which is missing from the surface of the wall before I turn the fine detail shadow option on. Right? So now this shadow effect has been greatly improved, that even on the tiniest details you can get the shadow if you turn on the correct options. Okay, so this is another feature that has been added. So next I will go out. Okay, before the other feature, let me still remain on the spotlight feature. So I'm going to drag the spotlight down. Probably I'll place it somewhere nearer. Like this feature. Okay, I'm going to reduce the cone angle, and then I'm going to lift this up a bit. So what has been improved in the spotlight area is the ability for us to import our own IES profile to change the appearance of the spotlight. So over here at the top right corner, there's a panel whereby it allows us to load in the IES profile. So I'm going to click inside here. I'm going to choose one of the profile, and then you can see now the appearance of the spotlight. It follows the profile that I've loaded in. So let's try another profile here. So you can see now it changed to another appearance. Try another one. Right? So you can see now it changed to another appearance. So now we have the capability of using IES profile to help us to get the correct appearance on our spotlight. So now we no longer have to tweak and change the brightness and things like that in order to get the correct so-called light shining from our spotlight. Okay, so this is another feature. So I'm going to go out to the area whereby you have a lot of trees. So when you look at the trees right now, you can see the tree is pretty stagnant. There isn't any movement, be it the trees or the leaf. So if you want the leaf to be blowing along with the wind, now in Lumion 11 there's a new slider added in the weather tab. Over here there's a wind speed. So you can just drag on the wind speed slider, you get the trees and the leaf to be blowing along the breeze. You can also use the wind direction to control the direction of the wind. And then one thing I want to highlight, which is a very minor changes, is this button here called type in value. So when you click on this T alphabet over here, right, you'll be given a box that you can type in the value for this particular slider. So let's say I want the wind speed to be about 50, so I can straight away type it in. So without dragging on the slider, now you can see the wind speed is already set to 50. Alright, so now let's take a look at the remaining features in Lumion 11. We'll be looking at the improvement made to the content library. In terms of object addition, let's say if I'm going to click on the Find Detail Nature library, over here I'm going to go to the search button and type in new, and I'll be able to get all the new addition made in Lumion 11. So I'm going to place a few of them in. Okay, just a few of them so that you know roughly what the new addition that's been made recently. And then I'm going to go to the People and Animals library and then do the same thing. I'm going to type in the new word over here, and then I'll place a few of it in. For example, this lady that is putting a dog in. Maybe another one with cycling. Okay. And then I'm going to go to the indoor indoor furniture, and then over here I'm going to do the same thing, type in the new keyword. Just try to place a few of it in. Okay. And then something for cars, we have a new car added into the content library as well. So I'm going to place a few of it. So one here. Okay. And then if you're going to go closer to the objects, right, you can see most of the objects are really of very high quality as well. Right? Even the car, it looks very beautiful. Okay, so let's take a look at the materials. So there are also a few materials added to the content library. So I'm going to go to the materials tab. I'm going to select the flooring here, and then I'm going to select the fabric. Over here, there are 5 different carpet materials that have been added. So you can see the one that has been newly added, there is a D at the bottom right corner of it. So I'm going to click on one of it. Let's have a look at the new carpet materials. So it looks really good, and then with the displacement option available for the materials as well. Okay, same thing for the wall, we have some newly added wall materials as well. So for example, I'm going to go to the outdoor brick materials. And how do we identify the materials, right? You can see some of the materials, there is ever motion wording on the image. So those are the one that is recently added. So I'm going to show you a few of it. For example, this is the first one. Then this is the second one, this third one, fourth one, and there's the fifth one. Okay, so I'll apply this material onto my wall, right? So these are the materials and objects that has been recently added into Lumion 11, and this also brings my software demonstration to the last part. And I'm going to go back to my slides. Okay, just to summarize my presentation. So in Lumion 11, other than the content library improvements in terms of adding more contents into it, there are also some major features like Autographic View, animated facing, range trick, and then there are also some minor ones like grass lighting improvements, shadows, fire object, and so on and so forth. Okay, now I will open the next part of the webinar for a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to type inside the chat log, and I will respond to you right now. Okay, so one of you is asking for pricing regarding upgrading from Lumion 10 to Lumion 11. Okay, I will get my sales team to get back to you on this regarding pricing issue. Any other questions? Okay, so if there is no other questions, I will end the webinar here. So before I end it, just some information to update you regarding Lumion. So Lumion, there is two versions. One is the Lumion normal version, and there is another version which is the professional version. And the difference between these two is there is a limited content in Lumion 11 normal version, and then it also comes with limited rendering effects. And one thing to take note is if you are going to purchase Lumion 11 license from us now, you get a free training for every seats that you purchase. If you have any questions regarding Lumion, feel free to contact us using the numbers and the emails over here. And also, if you want to get more information regarding Lumion, you can go to our website www.acad.com.sg or lumion.com.sg. Okay, so that's the end of our webinar. Thank you for attending, and I look forward to seeing you guys in our future events. Thank you.